What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Little Hope. Now, this game comes out very end of October. I'm going to be covering this game more as we enter September. As we enter October, we're actually talking about all of the October games much more than I have been. Mainly just want to wait till we're a little bit closer to them. But for this video, I want to go over the IGN, the 26-minute gameplay that was shown of Little Hope, kind of give my reaction to it, the pros of it, the cons of it, and go from there. Now, really quickly, before I jump into that, I do want to promote my second channel, Podcast Now Plus. If you guys have not yet subscribed there, the link for it will be in the description below. Would mean a lot to me. I'm going to be covering the game over there as well. In fact, I've already covered the game over there a couple times in the past, okay? So let's jump into this. Look, I have been a supporter of Supermassive Games. I've been a supporter of not just Until Dawn, but also Man of Medan to a fair extent. I've tried to defend that game in the past. Overall, I think it was an okay game. I think it was a solid game. I don't think it was amazing. Definitely, I think actually ramped up towards, maybe the last hour, but definitely took a while to get there. This game has had me concerned for a long time. Now, I'm not giving up hope. I probably will use the word hope quite often, not intentionally, but I haven't given up hope on this game. I still want to remain very high on it. I'm getting this game day one, okay, so there's no debate of, oh, well, he's just talking about it, but he's not actually going to get it. No, I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it, all that kind of stuff. I'll cover it on the channel, but the game does concern me in that I still feel like it's kind of like missing something, and I don't really even know how to pinpoint that. Visually, it looks solid. It's got some scares. You see that throughout this gameplay. It's definitely got a couple of moments where it's like, yeah, actually, that's legit freaky, or that actually got me, or whatever, but we're doing the same thing as we've done in all these past games, and that's okay. But as I've said before, this game, or this game series, really the Dark Pictures anthology, repeating over and over and over again, you got to be careful that it doesn't get old, right? You have to constantly freshen it up. And there's a couple things that I notice when I watch this game. The first thing is, again, yeah, you are doing, obviously, very similar things to what you've always done. And that's fine so long as everything else kind of elevates it. Because we know all of these games are really built much like each other. In fact, they've even admitted that they're not really going to do many things different in these games unless they absolutely have to. But for the most part, all 8 games of this anthology, which I really truly believe we're not going to actually get to 8, by the way, but they've said all 8 games are going to be very, very similar with each other in terms of how they play. Again, fine, as long as you change things up. I will give them a pro of this. I like the Salem trials. I like the witchcraft kind of stuff that they're going for. I think that's a very interesting part of history. I think that's a very interesting area to explore. The flashback thing I actually really, really like. So the game does have intrigue. It's got my interest. I will absolutely say that. I want to know more about this little town. I want to be able to see those flashbacks to what was happening and seeing, whatever the fact that there's ghosts or whatever these kind of things are in the current time. I mean, all that stuff I want to see in this game. But again, everything else has to kind of make up for the fact that the game is really not going to reinvent the wheel at all. In fact, the things that I feel like they're focusing on / I wouldn't even call it reinventing, but that they're obviously putting a lot of effort in is the cooperative stuff, playing with a friend, playing 5-player, which, by the way, I will say, that's really cool. I have no interest in doing that. I will not do that, but I do want to just kind of make that known that to me, it's just something that doesn't interest me. I know they've said that, when it comes to horror games, they find, or, a thing that they really focus on is being able to do it cooperatively and the strengths that come from that. I think that's totally cool. I respect that decision. I respect people liking that, and if that's kind of one of the main reasons you like the game, that more power to you. I honestly respect that. Just to me, doesn't really do anything. I like to play these games alone. I like to play these games straight through. You know what I mean? I like to play these games just single player. So, Until Dawn kind of style, all that kind of stuff. Even like Resident Evil, pick your game. Those are the kind of styles that I like to do. So that worries me that they don't seem to really be innovating anywhere that I'm interested in. One other thing that really bugs me, okay, and it bugged me really when we first saw gameplay of this, is I really am not confident on any of the acting. Truly. And now I don't know. I know that the main person of this game, like he's kind of a famous actor, right? Look, Until Dawn, I think. Firstly, there were some very, very talented actors and actresses in there. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it. I think they did a really good job. And also, if people didn't like them, which some people didn't like certain characters, I mean, it was done on purpose, and I think that kind of added to the sense of what that game was, where it was a trope. It was an 80s horror kind of trope, which was amazing. Okay, so I think it kind of bought into what it was trying to do, and we bought into it. You know what I mean? So, like, when characters were bad, or they were kind of purposely one-dimensional, they were just that. They did that on purpose, just to because they kind of fit the theme of what the game was doing. Man of Medan, I think acting overall was pretty darn solid. I don't really have anything negative to say about the acting there, but this game, I don't know, something about it, again, really from the very first time, but even watching it now, even watching 26 minutes of them just bouncing off each other with acting, something just seems off where I just can't get behind any of them. Like, they seem very non-personable, where I don't really care about any of them. Some of them sound kind of obnoxious. Some, you know what I mean? The girl that's in it, she's just, I don't know. She's got a weird kind of brat-like tone. The older lady, I really just don't care. Even the main guy, who again, like I definitely have seen him before in other things. Like I recognize the face. He's just he really does nothing for me. So maybe that's just me. In fact, that could just be me. Right? We'll have to see when the game comes out, or have to see what you guys think about it. But the acting is definitely something that. Look, if it's bad, but it's like it's supposed to be on purpose bad, then that's fine. And then like I said, like even with Until Dawn, like I can respect that, I can go along with that. But if this game is trying to do a very serious kind of tone and all this stuff, but I just cannot get behind it. In a game like this, you can lose a character right at a drop of a dime. In fact, they even showed how quickly or how easily it is to lose characters. They did that at the end of this gameplay. So you can lose all these characters, but a problem is you have to make us care. You know what I mean? I guess there is you don't have to care. Like they could have it be where like, well, you just want to see a happy ending. You want to see what the game is like when everybody survives. It could open up more dialogue. It could open up actually more like cutscenes and more story, things like that. Like that is definitely a reason, I think personally, to keep everybody alive. On the flip side, actually, that's kind of a reason, or there's other reasons why people want them dead. It's like, let's just see what this game will do when we eliminate everybody. You know what I mean? So there's people have different reasons for keeping them alive, purposely, eliminating them. But ultimately, with a game like this, I think you want to make us kind of care. If you're going to make it so that you can lose a character very, very quickly, and the game changes around that, I feel like you need to have some emotion when you lose that character. It's like you don't want to lose that character. Not where with this game, it's like, okay, if I lose a character, am I really going to care that I lost them? You know what I mean? Now, again, small snippets. I haven't played the full game. We haven't seen more than, I don't know what, maybe like an hour maximum of gameplay. Now, if it's only 4 or 5 hours, so we've maybe already seen around 1/4, 1/5 of the game. That's not necessarily the greatest thing. And for a game like this, by the way, this is something I do want to say really quickly. What's weird about this game is it is such a short game. We know it's going to be a short. I think it's going to be under 5 hours. And I'm not against showing off your game. In fact, I've said before, with different games, you're in different situations where some games I think can get away with barely showing itself off, right? Where they have trust in people, they're able to kind of go dark and they don't have to show, long gameplay segments. Some games need to prove themselves a little bit more, whether it's because of the developer or whether it's because of the past games or if they're an unknown, whatever reason it is, and they may need to show off more of the game to get people on board. With a game like this, I will say, I do think they are in a situation where they do need to show stuff because they haven't exactly had the greatest track record, especially like their most recent thing, right? So you have that, but on the flip side, you also have, well, this game isn't all that long, but you don't want to show too much because it's such a small game that if you show in all like an hour, well, an hour isn't much if you're talking about The Last of Us, or if you're talking about an open world game with so many side quests, so many main quests, and you show us a little bit. You're not showing us in the grand scheme of things all that much. But in reality, we could have watched 25% of this game already. You know what I mean? So that is a problem, I think, overall that we'll have to figure out, when the game comes out if we've seen too much of it. So I know it was mainly on negative stuff. Again, I think the environment, the theme of this game, I think is its biggest biggest strength. I think it needs to lean into that super, super hard because, again, I love the idea of what they're doing. I love the flashbacks, okay? I love the basic core mechanics of what these games are, too, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Like, having it happen over and over again, the repetitiveness will eventually get old. I'm not over it yet, though. So I do like the choice space. I do love the you can lose people at any second, right? And that your game will change around that. I'm still a fan of that. So I would say those are like the three main biggest things I'm excited for. Negatives is definitely the acting, I would say, is number one. And then being careful that we're not doing the same thing over and over throughout all these games, right? But I will be making more videos on Little Hope. I'll get a little bit more specific. We'll talk about different mechanics or different features about this game, again, as we go through September, as we go through October. If you guys want to see something specific on Little Hope, definitely let me know, but I'll be doing more videos on it very, very soon, okay? Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, subscribe to my second channel, like I said, Podcast Now Plus, if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next video.